the majority of this lesson is on the 6 steps of agenda design. So let me quickly walk you through the steps. And I'm going to come back in detail on some of them because they're just a little tricky. But once you get them, wow, it's going to make all the difference. And what I love about the 6 steps of agenda design is if you systematically go through this, you're going to have a good agenda. You're going to meet your client needs. It's going to meet that competency that we've been talking about creating collaborative client relationships where you're designing something for the group that really means something to them and is easy for you to deliver. So I put it into questions. The first question is a what question. You need to find out before you start anything is what are the issues or the topics that want to go on the agenda. And if this is just a basic team meeting, weekly team meeting, that's probably pretty easy to determine. It's a very special meeting. You're going to have to dig a little deeper and talk to more people. You are going to come up with a central question for your meeting. And the reason that is important, and I'm going to do another little video on it, is that the central question allows you to keep refocusing you and the group on what the most important thing is. Second step, why? So why are you having this meeting? Here's where we put in our aims or objectives. And again, I'm going to do a separate little video on this because this is a little tricky. Most people don't know and don't think it's so obvious, but we really need to know what are you going to deliver at the end, what is the decision or agreement, and what you want people to feel and experience as a result of this meeting. So there's 2 sort of sets of aims, heart and head. The third step is a what question again, and it's really what is the order you're going to do things in, so order, and what are the processes you're going to use, the tools and techniques. And that is something that you decide every time. If you only have 5 tools, that's not great because you're leading these meetings on a regular basis and you need people to feel engaged and excited and curious about what you're going to do next. That's why I love this course, because there's just so many different tools and techniques that you can use. And you can mix and match. So that's really important to figure out how, here's your agenda, here's why you're having the meeting, and here's a little bit of the how as well, but it's what's the order and what the process is. And then really easy step 4, seems easy actually, but the who is pretty important. Sometimes a lot of people show up to meeting. I've been to big agency meetings where typically 25 people show up and not everybody needs to be there. So really think carefully who needs to be there, who could get a report of the meeting afterwards, who is going to be an expert, who's providing content. Decide when is the optimal time for the most important participants and where the space is really important. So we'll talk a lot about that, setting up the proper space, even if you have a regular team meeting space that is really, dare I say, abominable in terms of clutter and deadness. And there are ways that we're going to show you to enliven the space that you have your meetings in, so people feel cheerful and they feel well taken care of. Step 5 is what else? This is kind of the wow effects. So if we added that, wow effects. So we really want to know, how are we going to keep people there? What are things you can do to just create that extra special effort? It might be a particular refreshment, it might be a joke session, it might be a storytelling, it might be a question that's really provocative at the beginning of the meeting. Just something that really creates pizzazz. And then finally the how. And that might be like, how are you going to end the meeting? What are the notes you're going to have? How are you going to make sure that the steps, the actions that you create are actually implemented? So there's a fair bit to the how as well. So we'll come back to that, and I really hope you enjoy learning more about each of the 6 steps.